Jamaica recorded 85 new cases of COVID-19 on Sunday. It brings the total number of confirmed cases in Jamaica to 51,220, of which 3,014 are active. According to the Ministry of Health and Wellness, the deaths of 2 women over the 24-hour period are a 92-year-old from Hanover and a 68-year-old from St. Anne. These have brought the virus death toll on the island to 1,157. Of the 85 newly reported cases, there were 54 females and 31 males with ages ranging from 65 days old to 92 years old. The cases were recorded in Kingston and St. Andrew with 26, St. James 11, Westmoreland, Manchester and St. Anne had 9 each, St. Elizabeth and Hanover 6 each, St. Catherine 4, Clarendon 3, and Trelawney and St. Mary 1 each. The country also recorded 379 recoveries, bringing the total number of recoveries to 46,695. The Ministry of Education, Youth and Information is advising parents and/or guardians that may call the ministry's regional offices as well as their helplines in the event they need help in accessing and printing their child's primary exit profile PEP 2021 examination results. Parents and/or guardians can call the Educate Jamaica helplines at 888-338-2283 or 888-724-8463 for any queries or concerns. For assistance with technical support, schools may contact the Ministry's help desk via email at support@parents.dpisonline.com or support@dpk.com.gm. Schools can also use the instant message chat from the Ministry's website on Monday to Friday from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. The Ministry is also advising that in light of the disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic and to ensure that the COVID-19 protocols are observed, it will restrict the number of persons entering the offices should there be a high volume of persons. Parents may submit their queries by email to pepaction, that is pepaction@moey.gov.jm, or call the regional directors. In other news, Minister of Education, Youth and Information Favour Williams says schools must make it their mission to rank among the best institutions globally. Here is Colleen May with more on this story.
Minister of Education, Youth and Information Favour Williams, who was addressing the Montego Bay Community College's Outstanding Achievement Awards ceremony held at the campus in St. James, commended the teaching and support staff of the college and referred to the institution as a centre of excellence with high standards.
Your continued performance of excellence is worth celebrating, and I'm therefore delighted to extend congratulations to today's awardees. Special commendations are also in order for the teaching and support staff who have kept the institution open and running despite all the upheavals of the COVID-19 pandemic. The quality of the training is evident in the demand by the employers for your students, and they're continuing to live up to the confidence placed in them. In your 46 years of operations as a government-owned entity, you have cemented your place in the heart of residents of Western Jamaica as a center of excellence, and long may you maintain these high standards.
During her address, she charged the nation to do the work to have Jamaican schools be highly ranked among the world's best schools and thanked the Montego Bay Community College for playing their part in this endeavor.
The next phase of your life will have challenges as well as new and rewarding opportunities. I'm confident that Montego Bay Community College has prepared you and is preparing you well for this. We need to be able to say to students at more of our schools, from early childhood to tertiary, that the schools from which you're graduating prepared you well. Sadly, that's not the case in 2021, despite us being at this business called formal education for many, many decades. And I want to say to you, all of you today, all of Jamaica, that we must get to that point in our evolution as a Jamaican people in which, among the things we are known for globally, will be students that are high achieving, students that excel, not just some students, but all our students. We must set our sights on being ranked among the world's best schools. It is not impossible. We have to wake up every day and do the work that will make such a rank possible.
Student Council President Aniska Christie in her remarks pointed to the determination of the students as they learn to navigate through the challenges of online classes due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
This particular year forced us to find creative ways to enhance the student experience during such a difficult time. Today we are gathered to give thanks. Firstly, to God who has continuously showed us mercy and has wrapped us and our nation in his arms of protection. A year and a half, some may call it, of "Are you hearing me? Please mute your mic," and ear-bursting sounds of our meetings reconnecting to the Wi-Fi. Nevertheless, we press on. Additionally, we're here to thank and celebrate students who did not allow a global crisis to hinder their development. They call us Generation Z, and in my opinion, that Z stands for Zoom. Within the past year, we have found ourselves stuck on this platform and many others just to get an education, and this was no simple task. However, there were students who did not give up. They refused to throw in the towel and let this pandemic stop them. I am extremely proud of all these students. As for those being awarded, you are absolutely amazing. This experience has taught us that we can do anything we put our minds to.
Approximately 120 students were awarded for outstanding academic and curricular achievements. Of special note were Miss Davia Henry, who won the college's Culinary Arts Club inaugural Bakers Cup competition, who also won the People's Choice Award for this competition. Miss Henry received several scholarships for the academic year 2020-2021 and made a request to the principal of the institution, Dr. Marie Nelson, that the proceeds from the scholarships be dispersed to students who are having severe challenges paying their fees. For this generous act, she received the Spirit of Hospitality Award. Reporting for Mello TV News, I'm Colleen May.
Thanks, Colleen. An online petition has been launched to bring back former People's National Party PNP President Dr. Peter Phillips amid ongoing internal feud in the party. This morning, tensions were still high in the PNP following several shocking resignations on Friday by party chairman Philip Paulwell and the three vice presidents, Damian Crawford, Wickham McNeil, and Michael Phillips. Philip Paulwell, in addressing news of his resignation from the post of chairman in a Facebook Live video, said the party must get its house in order to win another election.
A viable opposition will not come about if we are disunited. The problem why we only have 14 members in the parliament today is that our house was not in order. We were disunited, and it started back from about 2017 right through the general elections where we lost terribly, and of course today. We are not going to see the sight of power if this continues. And that's the reason why early in the new leadership of Mark Golin, I pledged my full support to ensure that we will have peace in the party. Because, you know, comrades, if our house is in disorder, is in disarray, no care what you do out there to try to convince people to vote for you, they're not going to do it, especially PNP people. We have seen that. Jamaicans on a whole, the JLP was out for 18 years because they were not united. There's nobody who's going to go to the ballot box and dip their finger in the ink for a party that is in disarray. They're not going to listen to you. So you could be performing very well in Parliament, you could be stirring up and pointing out the issues of the day. People are not going to pay you any mind. I know if you don't go there as a team, dog nyamber supper in the upcoming local government elections.
The former party chairman pointed out that he does not believe the party can undergo another internal election at this time.
I have said to the party leader, I have said to the officers of the party, I have said to the committee that is now in charge of unity, that I, Philip Paulwell, would leave this party if before the next election there is another challenge in the party. I would not support another challenge in the party. I made that pledge. So I was quite clear that between now and the next election, there will be no challenge to the existing party leader. I didn't vote for him, but I know that if there's another challenge, we will be out in the grass for another 10, 15 years. So I pledge my support to work to achieve unity. And that's why I was one of the active members of the Unity Committee. And that's the reason why I was quite clear, and I thought our party was quite clear, the officers were quite clear, that we could not sustain another internal elections. And that's what you call guided democracy. And it has happened before in 2006 and otherwise, when the leadership of the party say, listen, we are going to forego an internal campaign. An internal campaign costs people money, but more importantly, it costs unity. All the money that you'll be spending, you could have hold on to that and spend it in a local government campaign. But again, the infighting that it would cause. So I am saddened. I'm really saddened.
He expressed that persons need to look at the man in the mirror, while affirming that he can indeed look at himself in the mirror.
I believe in dignity. I believe in sincerity. I believe we have to look in the mirror at ourselves every day and ask yourself, is this what I am placed there? And you know, despite what anybody wants to say about me, every day I can look in the mirror with a clean heart and hands and say that I have been sincere in standing up for the Jamaican people, sincere in leading a life of honesty, a life without corrupt motives or practices, a life where in my own constituency I work for peace, for the killings that you hear about to stop, to ensure that gunmen are put away, people who have information to pass over the police. But in this thing, you bear a bad name. People say all kinds of things about you. People will go to the US Embassy. People of your own ilk will go and tell lies about you. That's how terrible the politics is. That's how terrible the internal politics can be. I bear these things, and I still wanted peace. I still wanted to ensure that during this period that we elect our officers, that we could agree on 4 VPs and that we could carry forward that agreement. We are not going to be successful with half of the party working.
Representatives from the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development along with other agencies toward the Lawrence Tavern community in the St. Andrew West Rural Constituency as part of their bid to collaborate in efforts to fix roadways, sidewalks, and broken culverts. Here is Caroline Johnson with more on this story.
State Minister in the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, Homer Davis, while on a tour of the Lawrence Tavern community in the St. Andrew West Rural Constituency, said that the ministry is on a mission to revive these communities that have been neglected over the years.
What we're seeking to do is to return these communities, to revive these communities that has been neglected over the years, to make them into communities that people can be proud of, going home to their community. They don't even have to go in the urban centers to do their shopping. So what Lawrence Tavern will be experiencing in this year's budget, 2020, 21, 22 budget, is a reconfiguration, a redesign, a new look, Lawrence Tavern. And we are not only developing the space, we are not only focusing on the heavy infrastructure, the roads, the light, we are also focusing on the human resources. And in focusing on the human resources, we will be creating training opportunities through our Trust NTA. We'll also be focusing on the farming communities, because our farmers need to know and need to be guided along new techniques in farming. And not only the techniques in farming, but also marketing their own produce.
The state minister also said that in enhancing the infrastructure in these communities, he is on a mission to give them a better space in which to operate.
Let me hasten to say that we are not about dislocating anyone from their livelihood. We are about seeking to give them a better space in which to operate from. And not only a better space, we'll be seeking to see how they themselves can improve on their own capacity, that they will be able to do better business and more business so they can sustain their family as they go along. So it is an integrated project. As I said, we had 5 such pilot projects, and we intend to have them started in this budget year. Some $650 million has been set aside to take on these projects. It is important for us to note that we are building a strategic partnership between community and government, because we have a mission, and that mission is to create a better environment for our people to live, work, do business, and raise families.
St. Andrew West Rural MP Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, in her remarks, expressed her gratitude for such initiative.
And I'm very happy with this initiative, of course. I think when this initiative was announced in the Parliament, I was ecstatic. And when I got the call from Minister Homer Davis, I was like, definitely. When you talk about redeveloping communities, you can't talk about prosperity and just focus on urban, just the cities. We have to look at our rural communities right across Jamaica when you talk about development. And so I am very, very pleased that we're now looking at Lawrence Tavern Square. Now there, in this huge constituency, we have Lawrence Tavern Square, Stony Hill Square, and of course, Red Hill Square. And I thought the most appropriate to really start is to look at Lawrence Tavern. And why? You have buses coming from, this is a JUTC stop, border community coming from St. Mary and also coming from Glengoff. And so this is a major intersection when you talk about transportation and people hustling and bustling, going about their business. Of course, the cameraman, you got a good glimpse of what happens. When you talk about the garbage in the square, and yes, we need to do better with the garbage collection, but persons, we need proper receptacle for the garbage collection. And the persons are not adhering, the business community is not adhering also to what they should do when it comes to taking out their garbage.
She also asked for the possibility of redeveloping the town of the Lawrence Tavern community.
We really need to look at a redevelopment of the city, the little town here in Lawrence Tavern, to make sure that we have proper sidewalks, that we have redesigned the little town itself when it comes to transportation. And I think this is what local government is trying to do, and this government is trying to do, to redevelop our township. And so I'm very, very pleased to find out more from the minister as to what it is that we're going to do. We had a good talk in the town to look at what we possibly can do. And so I'm looking forward, along with John Meyer, to see what can be done. And I'm sure the community members will welcome whatever it is that is going to happen for this town of Lawrence Tavern.
Reporting for Mello TV News, I'm Caroline Johnson.
Thanks, Caroline. In other news, the National Works Agency, NWA, is advising road users that delays may be experienced while traversing the Norman Manley Boulevard in Negril, Westmoreland, which commenced yesterday and continues until July 21st. The delays will be as a result of a number of traffic calming measures along the boulevard. Over the next 3 days, the agency will be installing rumble strips and raised pavement markers along critical sections of the corridor. This is being done as part of a targeted approach to reduce speeding along the corridor, thereby increasing the safety of pedestrians and other road users. Community Relations Officer at the NWA's Western Region Office, Janelle Ricketts, stated that the project targets the stretch of roadway between the Travelers Beach Resort and the Azul Beach Resort. Motorists are being advised to obey the posted warning signs and the instructions of flag persons. Minister of Transport and Mining Robert Montague says measures will be immediately implemented to get operators of public passenger vehicles to use the Linstead Transport Centre in St. Catherine. Speaking with reporters after meeting with stakeholders at the facility on the weekend, the minister said there will be greater collaboration between the police, the St. Catherine Municipal Corporation, and the Transport Authority to get the operators to comply. He said some one-way roads will shortly be turned into two-way roads, and all the transport centers, starting with Linstead, will be having a register to record the usage by operators. The minister pointed out that the information will be forwarded to the Transport Authority, and this will be taken into consideration when they seek to renew their licenses. Minister Montague also disclosed that to create more order in the system, the police and the Transport Authority will immediately begin a program to sensitize robot operators to regularize their operations, while meetings will be held with the various associations so that they can put their members reasons why they must abide by the regulations governing the transport industry. The minister said efforts will be intensified to get drivers, operators, and owners of vehicles in the sector to become familiar with the rules under which they operate, which are now available on an app developed by the Transport Authority. And this app can be downloaded on mobile phones and other devices. Homeowners at the Montego West Village in Montego Bay, St. James, are calling on the Gore Developments Limited to urgently address issues of the deterioration of their roofs and housing fixtures. Here is Caroline Johnson with more on this story.
Homeowners at the Montego West Village in St. James says they are fed up with the disregard of their developer, Gore Developments Limited, following reports of the deterioration of their roofs and other housing fixtures. Tiffany Wright, a homeowner for the past year and a half, said her roof is discolored and some windows are breaking apart.
The roof, the discoloration of the roof, the door to my laundry fell off and they did nothing about it. The painting on the walls, stripping, very bad paint job. You can see that I've repainted my veranda. I have not gotten the final report as yet from the architecture. When he came by, I said to him, "What about the roof? What's the discoloration?" And he told me that it was hot and cold. I have written to the necessary persons when Gore was here, and everything was just put underneath the covers. I mean, even simple things like the cupboard doors, because there are stoppers you're supposed to put inside them to prevent them from knocking, and I haven't gotten that. I remember one day cooking in the kitchen and the glass from the cupboard door fell out. The roof is my concern, yes, because it's mold and I'm pregnant, so it's dangerous. I painted my roof in December. I washed it, someone washed it for me and repainted it. And the Ministry of Health came and did a test and the mold was still present. So the solution that they're giving to us, I don't know if that will work, because mine was painted before the test was done and mold was still present on the outside of the roof.
Another homeowner who have been living in the scheme says he is concerned for his children based on the issues his family is experiencing in the home.
I have two young kids and a 5-year-old, so 5 years old, so I'm worried. Well, it's a disaster, it's very disappointing. I was, basically, I'm coming to resign, I'm coming for happiness, not to be fretting, because right now I'm wondering what is the cause of this, I don't know. Already some mold, fungus, so I really don't understand what is going on. We try to get the developer to do something about it, but it seems that they don't care,
So it's okay overall, but the roofing is not so wonderful. I'm not seeing anything inside, but when you look on the outside, it looks like, I don't know what to describe it. It's so ugly. That's the word I'll use. But a test was done, and we got back the results, and it showed that it has mold on it. I have kids, and I was told that mold is very harmful to them, so I want to get that resolved as soon as possible. It has been this way since last year in 2020. Not sure of the exact month or what, but since last year.
One homeowner who resides mostly overseas says when she spends time at the home, explained how the interior of the home have been damaged.
Right now we're unable to go inside, but the tiles inside are all different like shades. The ceiling on the inside, it's just wavy. It's really poorly constructed. I've been asking Gore to come out and regrade the lot or create a path for the water to travel, and I haven't had any luck with that. Also, I was charged an additional $400,000 for that lot. And as you can see, I'm having erosion issues to the side. There is not a retaining wall. I was told I would receive a retaining wall. And I received a letter from Christopher Gore saying that he's not responsible for a retaining wall, despite the fact that I am having erosion issues. And as far as the $400,000 goes, I have the lot. So if I want the lot that they bought, my peg is 12.5 foot down. I would have to build a retaining wall myself and backfill it to get the actual land that I paid for.
Our news team reached out to the Gore Development Limited, and they expressed at this time that they have no comment. We will bring you more on this story in subsequent newscast. Reporting for Mello TV News, I'm Carol Dean Johnson.
Thanks, Caroline. And those are some of the stories making news. We will return with other stories, with Prime Minister Andrew Holness saying that the government has placed greater focus on rural communities. as well as news that 380 housing units are expected to be completed this year, which could see some 700 Jamaicans being positively impacted through the social housing program. But first, let's take a break and then join Christopher Scott with sports.